Hello, I'm Matt Williamson. How's it going? At Williamson NFL. Give me a follow, all that good stuff. Gonna do kind of a two-parter today. Been asked over and over today. Again, I'm recording this Monday late afternoon. The Monday night game still hasn't happened. I'm gonna probably bring that up a couple times. I'm pretty excited about Chiefs-Jags. But several people on all the different outlets I work for have asked me, Matt, who in the AFC do you think is better than the Steelers? And I wanted to buzz through all 16 teams and just say yes or no on that. And I'm curious what you guys think, because I just did a podcast, I hope you listened, yesterday about how awful the AFC North is outside of Pittsburgh right now. But I also don't want to get too ahead of ourselves and be like, oh, the Steeler team's just going to win the rest of their games and steamroll the league and there's no problems whatsoever. So I think the AFC is really interesting right now. So let's go in the East. I know the Bills just lost, and frankly, I have some issues with their defense. They're far from a perfect team. But yes, they're better than the Steelers right now. No doubt in my mind. Okay. What about the Patriots? I think the answer is no, but they're impressing me in a very big way, May in particular. We saw the Steelers play the Patriots recently, and the Steelers won. And if you look at New England's upcoming schedule, which isn't really relevant for this conversation, but it is super easy this next month or so. So they may be like 7-2 before you know it. And everyone's talking about, wow, the Patriots are a juggernaut. And some of that might be a little false, getting ahead of ourselves. But I am very much in the Patriots are in the playoff conversation without question. No chance on Miami or the Jets. Boy, the defense is horrible. And I may have mentioned this, and I'm not trying to bash Justin Fields, but he has never been on the winning end of a game where he started, where his defense allowed 20 or more points. I mean, think about that. That's really terrible. As constructed today, again, this conversation is how good are you on October 6th? There's nobody in the North that I would say is a better team than the Steelers. As mentioned yesterday, I'm very open to the idea that a month from now, 2 months from now, the Ravens will be clearly better than the Steelers. I'm not open to that with Cincy, certainly not open to that with the Browns, but I do think the Browns are dangerous. I think the South is really interesting. Clearly, the Steelers are better than the Titans. I know they won, but they're a disaster. I'm a believer in the Colts. I'm going to say, yes, the Colts are better than the Steelers. I don't see a lot of weaknesses there. They have a lot of weapons. Jonathan Taylor's been a stud. Warren from Penn State, I'm sure a lot of you guys like, has been a stud. So I would say they are better. I think both these teams are better than New England, Houston and Jacksonville. But I hesitate to talk too much about the Jags because I know it's only one game, but I think Jags-Chiefs tonight might shape my opinion of the Jags really heavily. I mean, if they happen to win that game, but more how they hang with what I think is a pretty darn good Chiefs team. They might be on at least the same tier as the Steelers, and they're 3-1 right now. Maybe they're 4-1. I bet they're 3-2, but who knows? As of right now, though, I can't say they're clearly better. I know Houston just beat up on two bad teams, including the Ravens. It's amazing you say that about the Ravens. But I also think they're in the same tier as the Steelers, and they might be better. It might be pretty clear because their defense is loaded. And I'm a big Stroud guy. If they figured out some of the protection issues a little bit, which it looks like they kind of have, I'm starting to think that the Texans have turned the corner. The Raiders, if we go to the West, are horrendous. They are really, really bad. I think the Steelers are better than the Chargers right now, and I would not have said that 2 weeks ago. Bad things are happening to the Chargers. I mean, they're losing O-linemen left and right. Herbert was, and frankly still is, playing like an MVP, but he is under such duress all the time. And looked like Hampton got hurt at the end of that game. The defense got gouged much more than I would have expected. So I think things are plummeting really quickly for the Chargers. Now, again, the Chiefs play Monday night. It wouldn't shock me if they played a really tight game in Jacksonville. It wouldn't shock me if they lost 27-26. Wouldn't shock me if they won 27-10 and just blew their doors off, because I think the Chiefs are turning the corner. And right now, before that game, as a 2-2 team, I will say the Chiefs are better than the Steelers, and I feel pretty confident about that. Last one to me is Denver. I'm quite confident that they're better than the Steelers. I think they're a really good team. They're one of the top teams in the league, maybe 6th or 7th best team overall, where the Steelers might be 11th or 12th, something like that. Tremendous defense, really well coached. Nick's in his second year, looks like he's getting back comfortable after a really rough start. So I think Denver's a contender. Yeah, I mean, so that's only a handful, though. I mean, there's only a couple that I think are clearly better. I would say the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Colts, the Bills. And then I would say Jags, maybe, Texans are kind of in the same tier as the Steelers.
Football season's finally here. Time to check out the latest odds, futures, and win totals on the FanDuel Sportsbook. Think the Steelers are headed to the Super Bowl? Lock in your bets today. Whatever your game, FanDuel Sportsbook delivers the latest lines, futures, and specials, so you can join in on all the action. Hey guys, if you're planning to see a Steelers game, use the Game Time app to get your tickets. You can snag new ticket deals before anyone if you set it into your app alerts. The app is easy to use. No surprise fees at checkout. You can see your seat view before buying, and you're getting legit tickets delivered on time. If you're not much of a planner, you can get last-minute deals on tickets right up to the start of the event. Lowest price guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Download the Game Time app and enter the code DK Steelers into your app profile to get $20 off your first purchase.
The second thing I wanted to do today, and this will be quick, but I think we need to do this 2 or 3 times over the course of the year. What teams could really be battling the Steelers for a first-round quarterback? And it changes a lot. Now, I'm a little more open to the idea. I never would have closed the door, but might Rodgers want to come back and you could postpone this a year? Maybe. Or, maybe the need isn't as desperate, but, we can also talk about the prospects too. That group seems to be ever changing, as it always is. But again, I'm just going to buzz through all 32 teams and say yes or no in terms of will be, should be in the first round quarterback mix. Bills, no. Patriots, no. Miami, yeah. Now, Tua's contract won't be easy to get out of. That'll take some finagling. They could have coaching changes. But I think there's an argument to be made that if you're picking 6th, if you're the Dolphins, you just take a quarterback. Sorry to bash Fields still. I know a lot of you guys still like him, and hey, I'm rooting for him, but the Jets are a resounding yes. And sure looks like they're going to be picking high as the only team that does not have a win yet. I would say the Jets are very much in the quarterback market. Of course, the Bengals and Ravens are not. The Browns, you have to think they probably are. Dylan Gabriel at least could change their mind a little, but remember they have 2 first-round picks, so I would think that it's quarterback, but at least some of these young guys can at least make some of these teams consider going in another route. I think the Colts are married to Daniel Jones and they'll extend him. I think the Jags are probably, they're going to still roll with Lawrence. I mean, they're not going to move up for a quarterback. I think the Texans are going to be very happy with Stroud if they're not already. And I think the Titans with Ward are thrilled. He's very much a bright spot for me for Tennessee, despite them being a miserable team. So I don't see anyone in the South being in the quarterback first-round market. Chargers, no. Broncos, no. Chiefs, no. Raiders, massive yes. I'm a Geno Smith guy, but he has been really bad. And there's nothing, coming up through the pipeline. So I think the Raiders could be very aggressive or certainly be picking in the top 5 to grab a guy. Eagles are a no. Commanders are a no. Dallas is such a weird team, but they would be insane to move on from Dak. I mean, I think he's playing like an MVP right now. I can't imagine that being the move. Giants, no matter what happens to the coaching staff, I would think ownership is not going to allow them to go down that road, that it'll be Jackson Dart. Lions are a no. Packers are a no. Vikings, probably a no. But I would think McCarthy's going to get back out there sooner than later. And if he plays like he did pre-injury, you at least need to consider it, or going to get a stopgap, or trading for Tua, or use a second-round pick on a guy, or whatever. But I don't think you could just roll it back with what you've seen from Wentz and McCarthy. But that's very subject to change. I think the Bears are getting happier and happier and happier with Caleb Williams. I don't adore him, but boy, there's a lot to work with there. Moving away from him at this point, I can't imagine that would be the move. Tampa is thrilled with Baker. I think Atlanta is very encouraged with Penix. Carolina's a new one here, though. I think they could absolutely be in the mix. I mean, Bryce Young to me is very limited. You know, that if you really want to be where you want, you do not want a guy with such a small ceiling, which he's able to walk under because he's so short. He's okay. He's going to last in this league. He'll probably start a lot of games. I just don't think he's the answer. I think Carolina is a team now that you firmly put in that certainly could be in the quarterback market situation. The Saints are an easy yes, but that organization hasn't drafted a first-round quarterback since Archie Manning, Arch's grandfather. And I'm kind of impressed with Rattler. So let's say they pick 5th in the draft, or 6th or whatever, and 2 quarterbacks are gone, and the best defensive lineman in the draft is there. Maybe they wouldn't go quarterback. I'm just saying, I don't think that one's set in stone. The Niners are a no. Seattle's a no. Darnold's been really good for them. Rams are definitely a yes, even if they win the Super Bowl this year. Remember, they have the Falcons' first-round pick, and they have their first-round pick. Be a perfect time, even if Stafford returns, to groom a guy, let McVay and Stafford take them under their wing for a year. No pressure. Maybe Stafford even retires after this year. I mean, we know he's got a myriad of injury stuff. We haven't heard anything lately about the neck, but he's playing great. So I would think the Rams are one of the few good teams that you have to worry about, and they have firepower to move up ahead of the Steelers for sure. What about Arizona? I mean, this is, because it's so new, they lost in miserable fashion to a terrible Tennessee team. And if they end up as a 6 or 7 win team, could there be coaching changes and then maybe residual quarterback changes? I mean, Kyler seems to also, another short joke, hitting his head on the ceiling a little bit too. He is what he is at this point, which to me is okay, but not good enough. So if the opportunity presents itself for Arizona, maybe they would be a team to go first round quarterback. It's a lot of teams. I mean, yes, it's supposed to be a good quarterback draft. Some guys' stock is falling. Some are rising of that quarterback class, as it always does. You can't ever look in the summer ahead and be like, oh, we know exactly what this quarterback class is going to look like. That's foolish. I can't imagine Arch Manning comes out. He's been horrendous. Not horrendous, but he's not been first overall superstar. So I have to say in early October, I'm a little less confident that the Steelers' first round pick will be a quarterback. I guess that's the short of it, but who knows? I'd like to do this a couple times between the end of the season and now. A lot of stuff might be changing. I might laugh at myself for saying Spencer Rattler is good at all. Might look at him in 2 months and be like, oh, the Saints are taking a quarterback, first overall pick, But that's where I'm at. All right, over and out.